Hi, I'm Stan Farmer, a partner here in the international or expat team at Walkner Condon. And today I'm going to list what I consider kind of my top 5 considerations that Americans might give to Portugal as a potential destination abroad. Okay? This video is just going to hit on these topics. If you want to know more, there'll be a blog post that dives into each of these a little bit more that is hyperlinked in the YouTube link. Okay. Number 1, Portugal is hot. And by hot, I mean popular and also a very lovely Mediterranean climate. Okay. So it's affordable. It's got a welcoming culture. It is, a very pleasant place to live. I know this from experience. I lived in Lisbon. God, it's been over a decade now, and since I've been back here working with expats, but I was myself an expat in the Lisbon area, loved it a lot, and Portugal remains a very popular expat destination for Americans, even after the end of the NHR program. And if you want to know what the NHR program is, read some of our blogs on our website. But that largely went away, all of these tax incentives that were included, but Americans continue to find Portugal attractive. And if you want to find a place where you can make American friends, British friends, and you want to live like kind of, where you connect and make friends with an expat community, Portugal is a great choice because, it's got a swelling expat population throughout the country, really. Number 2 would be ease of immigration. Okay, I think that a lot of people are drawn to Portugal because it's not that hard to get a visa, and if you hold that visa for 5 years, then you can actually apply for citizenship in that Portuguese passport, which gives you the ability to live in any of the Schengen countries of Europe. So that is, in my experience, been a popular reason why many expats are drawn to Portugal. Is just it's easier to get there and live. If you are after the passport and the Schengen privileges, but you don't necessarily want to live full-time in Portugal, which would be required by the D2 visa, there's also the Golden Visa program that's going to require either a 250,000 euro cultural contribution, which means the money goes bye-bye, or spend 500,000 euros and make an investment in a qualified fund, okay? Caveat, foreign pooled investments are PFICs for Americans. If you want to know what a PFIC is, read our blogs. If you're an American, those can be somewhat tax unfriendly. But nonetheless, I need to make you aware that these are 2 pathways to European citizenship in Portugal that are, pretty easy relative to other programs in Europe. Okay, number 3, no wealth tax in Portugal. Okay, wealth tax in the classic sense of like you got to disclose your entire net worth of assets there and abroad, and it's largely taxed. Okay, each year. Now, some Western European countries like Switzerland and to some extent the Netherlands, although it's technically an income tax, do tax kind of like imputed wealth, the wealth that you have and what a reasonable return on that wealth would be in the Netherlands, or just the wealth you have in any of the cantons of Switzerland. Portugal doesn't have those. They have something they call the wealth tax, or the AIMI, the Adicional Imposto sobre Imóveis. That is a tax on very high-end properties. If you own your property jointly, you have to get to over 1.2 million euros in property value on your Portuguese home before you have to worry about that tax. And since Portugal is an affordable country relative to many, that would be quite an opulent home. So most expats don't have to worry about that. But if you really want high-end real estate in Portugal, you should be aware of that special wealth tax. Okay. Also, no gift, estate, or inheritance tax. One of the legal reforms that Portugal undertook to attract more affluent foreigners to choose Portugal as a place to live was getting rid of their inheritance and gift taxes. Okay, so this is important because a lot of countries in Western Europe have very steep inheritance and gift taxes with much lower exemption amounts than Americans enjoy with our unified gift and estate tax in the United States. Okay, so especially if you, by the way, are expecting a larger inheritance from mom and dad or some other rich relative, that could be a really important consideration. If you're retiring in Portugal and want to make sure that whatever's left of your wealth can pass relatively tax-free to your loved ones, Portugal might be worthy of your consideration. Okay, finally, trusts, which notoriously do not travel well in Europe, particularly since European countries largely practice civil law or Roman law, whatever you want to call it, where trusts were not recognized and trusts are looked at with the utmost suspicion and taxed with impunity. Portugal reformed their civil code in 2015 to recognize fiduciary structures. And we find through that legal reform and through court cases that have come thereafter that it is possible that traditional U.S. trusts that are common estate planning vehicles may kind of work in Portugal the same way that they work in the United States. And since you're a tax resident of both countries, that's a very good thing. Now, I will caution, as with all estate planning, especially when trusts are involved, when you move to a foreign country, you need to have that estate plan reviewed by a legal professional licensed in that country. That is always the case, and it still remains the case in Portugal. But this is yet another reason why Portugal has cleared a gentler runway of transition for Americans. As you can probably surmise from all of this, we work with lots of American expats throughout Europe, but Portugal has become over the last 6 years and remains to this day one of the more popular destinations for our clients and people reaching out before they move. It's always a good idea to get your financial and your financial planning and your investments in order after a good review by a qualified advisor. And that's the kind of service that we perform for our clients here at Walkner Condon. Be sure to watch this and any other videos on our YouTube channel. And again, check the link if you want to know more about these 5 things that I discussed in this video today. Thank you very much.